The night echoes with the crash, the screech of the car still shrieking in my bones. I am Abigail Harper, 28. Lying shattered in the cold embrace of the hospital, waiting for my parents Eleanor and James to burst through the door, their eyes frantic with worry for me. But the door remains still the daughter who never mattered. My parents' love is poured entirely into my sister's Alaskan Malamute Orion, a dog more important than their daughter. As pain grips me tightly, a dark question rises: why am I worth less than a dog's leash? Lying here unvisited, a question haunts me like a specter. What truth keeps them away as I teeter on the edge of death? The answer stirs a storm awakening in my soul, ready to shatter my world. Before we dive into today's dramatic and unexpected story, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming stories. And leave a comment to let us know where you're watching from. Now let's follow this bitter, calculating tale filled with shocking twists that will leave everyone speechless. My sister Cassandra, who was 5 years my senior, effortlessly radiated their affection. She wasn't extraordinary, her grades were average, her talents unremarkable, but she wielded attention like a scepter. When she turned 25, they gave her a purebred Alaskan Malamute Orion, a $4,000 creature of snow-white fur and piercing eyes more cherished than my dreams. He wasn't just a pet, he was a prince draped in custom vests, fed gourmet meals prepared by a hired chef, and his every whim was a family priority. He was an afterthought from the beginning. When I was 10, I won a poetry competition and my work was published in a local anthology. However, the topic of conversation at dinner that evening was Cassandra's story about Orion's first swim. When I was 15, I was given a solo in the school choir, and my voice rang out through the auditorium only to hear Cassandra gripe. "Orion detests loud noises, Abigail. Can't you practice somewhere else?" Ever the diplomat, Eleanor suggested that I sing in the garage in a soft but decisive tone. James nodded and scrolled through pictures of Orion at the dog park. Their lack of interest dulled the sharpness of my accomplishments. When I graduated as valedictorian from high school, my speech reverberated in a packed gymnasium, and they missed it. Orion's grooming appointment, which involved an hour-long ritual of brushes and sprays, couldn't be rescheduled. So I stood alone in my cap and gown, watching classmates embrace their families, my honors sash a weight I carried in silence. The disparity grew starker with time. My swimming records, too shattered in my junior year, earned a brief "That's nice, dear," before Eleanor redirected to Orion's latest trick. My trophies, gleaming with effort, were banished to the attic. "Orion gets nervous around metal," Cassandra insisted, while the living room mantel groaned under framed photos of Orion's adventures. College brought no reprieve. Accepted to Wesleyan with a partial scholarship, I scraped by with loans. James explaining, "We have to prioritize, Abigail. Money's tight." That same week, they funded Cassandra's vision, a basement transformed into Orion's sanctuary, complete with climate control, custom tiles, and a sound system piping calming canine melodies. My sophomore year, Orion shredded my thesis draft, left carelessly on the dining table during Christmas break. "He's just a dog, Abigail. You should have been more careful," James scolded as Cassandra soothed Orion his trauma from my raised voice, the night's true crisis. The summer before my senior year, Orion's mild fever forced us to cancel our family's childhood dream trip to Yellowstone. Eleanor said, "We can't leave him, Abigail. You understand." While she focused on Cassandra's tearful face, I lost a week's worth of my internship pay, and I felt sad when I heard Cassandra update Orion's veterinarian over the speakerphone. After graduating with honors in communications, I found a job at Sterling Media in Stamford where I had to juggle loan payments and rent. Meanwhile, Cassandra's Instagram showcased Orion's extravagant birthday parties, with my parents paying for custom cakes and dog-friendly venues. Each post pierced my hope that they would notice me, that they would care. "You're describing neglect, Abigail," she stated steadily in our therapy session with Dr. Lauren Hayes. "How does it feel to be sidelined for a pet?" she asked. I mumbled, "Like I'm a ghost," the term laden with years of suppressed grief. My friend Lena Carter, a fiercely devoted coworker, also saw it. When my parents called off a rare lunch because Orion's vet appointment took precedence, she erupted saying, "This is absurd, Abigail, a dog before their daughter." My recent opportunity was a promotion to senior communications strategist at Sterling, a position that promised stability. The last obstacle was a pitch dinner for our top client, a chance to prove my worth. I invited my parents weeks in advance, and Eleanor's warm voice over the phone said, "We'll be there, Abigail. Send us the details." Her outrage confirmed mine, but I held on to a shaky belief that if I accomplished enough and shown enough, they would notice me. For the first time, I dared to hope. Days before the event, Cassandra sent us a group text in a dire tone. Upon arriving at their house, I found a tense living room with Orion sprawled out on a $600 bed that dwarfed the sofa. "Orion's depressed," she said, her eyes glistening. "His therapist says he needs family therapy starting this Thursday at 6:00, she said. "I told you about my presentation," I begged. Looking at Eleanor, then James. "It's my career." Eleanor looked away. "Orion's mental health is critical, Abigail. Surely work can wait." Cassandra's voice sharpened. "It's just a meeting. You can reschedule. Orion's suffering." James patted my arm. "We're sorry, but Orion's been with us 6 years. And I've been here 28, I said, my voice faltering. Their silence was louder than any response. I drove home, my tears blurring the road, but a resolve formed I'd shine without them for myself. On the morning of the dinner, I got up with a quiet strength. My navy suit was ironed, my slides had been polished through sleepless nights. Lena's encouragement lit up my phone, but my family's silence felt like a void. At the restaurant, I stood in front of the mirror, my reflection fierce, and I whispered, "You don't need them," before entering the stage I'd created for myself. The pitch was electric. My data, my vision, and my voice enthralling the executives. Their CEO, Evelyn Brooks, took my hand and said, "Brilliant, Abigail. This is senior-level thinking," her eyes sparkling. My team celebrated at a bar, Lena toasting, "Abigail, our next director." For hours, I reveled in their faith, their company, and a family built on mutual success. However, when I departed at 11:30, the streets beckoning me to stroll in the rain, my heart remained troubled by their absence, a thought gnawing in the back of my mind. Would they ever pick me? The car's tires screamed on wet pavement, the headlights blinding, and then there was a sickening crunch as metal met flesh. My body soared, weightless, my purse and phone scattering like stars. Pain erupted a supernova as I hit the ground. I was lost in thought as I stepped into a crosswalk, the walk signal green, my mind replaying the night's success, wondering if they'd spared me a thought during Orion's therapy. A stranger's palm was on my lips as the rain and blood blended. "Stay with me," they pleaded. Sirens screamed, and one thought pierced the mist. Will they arrive now? Will their efforts suffice? I was engulfed in darkness and lost all knowledge. The hospital room hums like a hive, its sterile light a cold moon over my broken body, and I, Abigail Harper, lie tethered to machines, their beeps a rhythm of survival, my leg a throbbing anchor of shattered bone, and my chest a tight drum from fractured ribs. Clara, the nurse with the eyes of twilight, moves with quiet grace adjusting my IV, her voice a soft wind, and she says, "You fought through the night, Abigail. Your spirit's a fire." But her words cannot warm the void where my family should be. 4 days have passed since the car tore through me, 4 days of waiting for Eleanor and James and for Cassandra to cross the threshold. Their absence is a blade sharper than the pain stitching my wounds, and I cling to the hope that they'll come, that my near death will finally draw their eyes from Orion's fur to their daughter's face. As the 5th morning dawns with gray light filtering through the blinds, Clara gives me a glass of water and says, "Your vitals are improving." Her gaze darts to the empty chair next to my bed, and Dr. Patel, with his unwavering voice, arrives to provide me with updates. "You've had 2 surgeries. Abigail, a punctured lung head, trauma fractures we're monitoring closely," she says, and I nod, my throat raw from the ventilator they removed yesterday. "My family," I rasp. "Have they called?" "We've contacted them. We'll try again." He says, his face clouding his silence a gap. I turn to face the window as the rain sings a melancholy melody, and I feel the truth ripping free. They've chosen Orion's leash above my lifeline. I called her mother the night she was brought in, told her Abigail might not make it, complications were mounting. Clara said in a low, anxious voice to another nurse, which I overheard later. The other nurse gasped. What did they say? Clara's tone hardens. Her mother said, We can't come. Our sponsor is sponsoring an event and Cassandra needs us. I've been here 15 years and never heard anything like it. The words hit me like a boulder, severing my heart. Hot tears burned my cheeks, not only because of their absence, but also because of the clarity it brings. Cassandra's spotlight and Orion's whims. They've always been their North Star, and I am a forgotten constellation fading in their sky. Clara becomes my compass. Her night shifts a haven, and she sits with me, her stories of her own broken family, a mirror to mine. I left my father's house at 19, she says, her voice a river's flow. He chose whiskey over us. Sometimes you have to walk to find your own light. Her words plant a seed, but I'm not ready to uproot my hope. Lena arrives, her fury escalating, bringing clothes and my phone that I've managed to retrieve. This is madness, Abigail, she says, her brown eyes flashing. Her rage feeds mine, but when I go through my phone, I see that there are dozens of messages from coworkers, but none from my family. The stillness is more eerie than the collision that led me here. On the 6th day, an infection flares up. A surgical wound turns angry red, and Dr. Patel's face tightens. He says, We need another surgery, Abigail. Antibiotics alone won't hold it. I nod, my voice a whisper. Do what you need. As they wheel me to the operating room, I picture Eleanor and James running in, their hands grabbing mine. This fantasy carries me into the embrace of the anesthesia. I wake up hours later, weaker the fever, a smoldering coal Clara by my side. She says, You made it through, but her eyes search the room, still empty. Anyone call? My voice is brittle as I ask, and when she shakes her head, something inside of me, not my bones, but my faith that they will ever pick me, cracks. That night, the sound of Cassandra's ringtone fills my heart with excitement. A betrayer of my strengthening resolve, I answer eagerly despite the anguish. Cassandra. Her tone is light and uninformed. Hey, Abigail, I'm sorry about your accident. That's tough. I wait, expecting concern and an invitation to visit. It's been serious, I say. I almost didn't make it, she continues. So Orion got these new anxiety toys. They're amazing. His therapist says they're a game changer. You should see the videos I posted. For 3 minutes, she talks about Orion's toys, his walks, and his moods. She doesn't once inquire about my surgeries, pain, or survival. I have to go, she says abruptly. Orion's walk is now. The call ends and I stare at the ceiling. The monitor beeps a mocking chorus. On day 7, Miriam Tate, the hospital social worker, stops by with a clipboard as a shield. She asks gentle questions such as, Tell me about your family, Abigail. Is there anybody else we should reach out to? I shake my head, my voice hollow. No one. It's just them, and they're not here. She nods, her eyes kind. Sometimes family dynamics are more complex than we expect. There are resources and support groups if you need them. Her words linger, a map to a path I'm not yet ready to walk. Physical therapy starts, and every step with a walker is an agony. The therapist Marcus pushes me, saying, You're tougher than this pain, Abigail. I grit my teeth, each movement a rebellion against my body's betrayal, against my family's. Clara's words reverberate through a restless night. Walking away doesn't mean you stop loving them. It means you start loving yourself. I lie awake, the pain a constant companion, and I start to see my life as a tapestry woven with their neglect. My accomplishments, my resilience. The accident, this bed, and this loneliness, they're a crucible forging something new. And I'm not ready to make a decision just yet. But the seed she planted stirs its roots, probing the soil of my heart. I think of Lena, of my coworkers' support, of the life I've built despite their indifference, and of whether I could build more. Could I find a place where people view me as a light instead of a shadow? By day 8, my condition stabilizes, The infection subsides under antibiotics, and Dr. Patel smiles with a rare warmth, saying, "You're a fighter, Abigail. We'll move you to a regular room soon." However, the victory feels hollow without witnesses, and Clara checks the visitor log every day, her face falling each time it's empty. I stop asking because the question is too heavy, and instead I concentrate on the pain. The therapy and the little victories like sitting up or holding a spoon each is a step toward a future I can't yet name, but one I'm starting to claim. The hospital, which was once a cage, transforms into a cocoon, and my suffering transforms into a chrysalis for something stronger. I am Abigail. And even as my family's absence reverberates, I hear my voice rising a song of survival, a promise to myself. The fluorescent lights in the hospital go out as I'm transferred to a normal room, and the walls are a light blue like the sky at dawn. But my heart is heavy with the weight of a storm. I, Abigail Harper, am a tapestry of scars. My body is healing, but my spirit is raw. Every breath reminds me of the car that almost took me and the family that never came. 9 days have gone by, and the beeps are softer now. The pain is a dull ember, but the silence of Eleanor, James, and Cassandra is a canyon vast and unyielding. My nurse, Clara, whose eyes are like twilight, examines my bandages. Her touch is like a quiet river. "You're healing, Abigail," she says. "Your strength is a mountain, but I feel like a sapling bending under the wind of their absence, my hope for their love. A root I must choose to nurture or uproot." "You're carving your path," Marcus says, sweating as I shuffle across the room. His words echo Clara's, stirring the seed she planted to love myself more than their neglect. Lena returns, her arms full of books, snacks, and a soft blanket. "You deserve to be spoiled," she says, her voice a fierce drum. She sits by my bed, scrolling through her phone. Still nothing from them. They chose Orion's walk over my life. I mutter the truth, a bitter root, and Lena's eyes glow. "You're worth more than their dog, Abigail. You always have been." She says, her faith in me a flame that ignites a fire I've long smothered. I shake my head. The pain in my chest more acute than my fractures. On the 9th day, the social worker Miriam reappears, her presence as gentle as a gentle breeze. "Have you considered what comes next?" With her clipboard on her lap, she adds, "I don't know, I've always tried to win their love. What if I stop?" I pause, my voice shaking like a leaf. Stopping doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing a new trail. One where you're seen, she says, nodding, her eyes as warm as earth. She leaves pamphlets with information on support groups, housing options, and legal resources, a map to a life beyond their shadow. I hold on to them, my fingers following the words, each step leading to a horizon I can't yet see. That night I dream of a forest, my feet firmly on a path, Orion's howl fading behind me, and I wake up with a clarity as keen as a hawk's gaze. I must break free. "Abigail, the office is rooting for you," she says, placing a card signed by my team on the bedside table. "Your pitch was phenomenal. The promotion's yours when you're ready." Her words are a comfort, evidence of a world that values me. Can I work remotely? Rachel Morgan. My boss arrives unexpectedly on the 11th morning. Her suit is clean, but her eyes are soft with concern. Her trust is a rock in my hand, solid and grounding, a contrast to the sand of my family's promises. I ask steadily, "I need to leave Stamford, start fresh?" And she nods. "We'll make it work. You're too good to lose." I tell her that I'm thinking about Boston, a city that's close enough to rebuild, but far enough to breathe, and she smiles. Boston's a good place to grow roots. Clara's night shift turns into a council fire, and her tales of her chosen family friends who became kin light a path. "I built a life where I'm enough," she says, her voice a steady stream. "You can too." I confess my plan, tentative as a new shoot. I want to disappear, not to hurt them, but to find myself. She listens, her hand on mine. "Do it for you, Abigail, not for their regret." Her words are a win, strengthening my resolve. The following day I call Miriam, and her resources are a lifeline. She puts me in touch with a nonprofit in Boston that helps people who are estranged from their family. And they give me a studio apartment that is affordable, with the necessities, a bed, a table, and a chair, through a local charity. I use my savings to secure it, my heart pounding with excitement. When I bring up leaving, Dr. Patel pauses. "Medically, you need another week," He says, his brow furrowed. You're stable, but fragile. I look him in the eye and my voice is as firm as oak. Staying here waiting for them is killing me more than my injuries. He looks at me, then nods. Your spirit's driving this. I'll arrange safe transport, follow-up care in Boston. His concession acts as a bridge connecting my broken body with my awakening soul. I call my landlord, breaking my lease with medical documentation and my bank securing my accounts. Every step is a thread weaving a new tapestry, one in which I am the center, not the periphery. Clara brings me hospital stationery the night before I leave, and her presence gives me a quiet strength. My pen flows freely, expressing truth instead of anger. I've waited my entire life for your love, but you gave it to Cassandra and Orion. I nearly died, and you chose his walk over my bedside. I'm leaving to find a place where I'm enough. Don't follow, this is my path. I fold it, keeping my hand steady, and give it to Clara. Leave it on the bed after I'm gone, I say, and she nods, tucking it away. You're brave, Abigail, like a warrior claiming her identity. Her words warm the cold edges of my fear like a blanket. The hospital is a sleeping giant at dawn on day 13, its hallways silent. Dr. Patel signs my release against medical advice, and his instructions are clear: rest therapy and follow-up. A private medical transport is waiting at the back entrance, arranged by Miriam. Its driver is discreet. Clara helps me get dressed, and Lena's clothes are soft against my skin. She wheels me out, her whisper a blessing. You're a river, Abigail. Flow strong. I take her hand, and as we drive away, I watch Mercy General shrink my letter on the bed, a final chord. I deserve better, and now I believe it. The road to Boston stretches like a promise, each mile a step toward a life where I am seen, my heart a drum beating for myself. Abigail Harper arrive at my new studio, a small nest in a converted warehouse, its bare walls and mismatched furniture a canvas for my rebirth. My body, still a map of scars, leans heavily on the walker, each step a pulse of pain, but my spirit, like a young oak, reaches for light. The medical transport driver, silent as stone, helps me settle, then leaves, leaving me alone in a quiet that hums with possibility. I stand at the window, the Charles River a distant ribbon, and feel the weight of my old life. Eleanor, James, Cassandra, Orion fall away like dry leaves. My apartment, with its one mattress and used table, is both a haven and a challenge. The silence, free from hospital beeps and family demands, is a new language that I'm learning to speak. I set up automatic bill payments, a skill Clara taught me, and ration my groceries, rice and beans, over the course of days. Every small accomplishment, such as making toast without feeling uncomfortable or walking to the bathroom by myself, serves as a testament to my strength and resilience. However, at night, doubt creeps in like a shadow, asking if I've lost too much. Can I use these flimsy strands to construct a life? I ignore the ideas and concentrate on the healing beat, my heart and body healing together. A week later, I'm startled by a knock at my door, and my heart races with fear that they've found me. Through the peephole, I see a woman with auburn curls holding a potted plant. I'm Nora from 4C, she calls, her voice warm as a hearth. Heard you're recovering. Thought you'd like a friend. I open the door cautiously, and she enters, her smile unjudging. This is a snake plant, she says, placing it on my table. Tough as you, it purifies the air. Her generosity, undeserved but freely given, breaks my guarded shell. I'm Abigail, I say, offering water in a paper cup. It's all I've got, Nora laughs. Perfect. I'm here for the conversation. We talk her stories about her art studio, weaving with my hazy mentions of a fresh start. An hour later, she departs, promising to return, and I feel a spark, the first ember of a chosen kin. I put my laptop on pillows. My remote position as a senior communications strategist is a lifeline. Rachel's trust is a steady wind. My first campaign, a rebrand for a tech startup, receives praise, and my inbox is filled with Rachel's notes. You're thriving, Abigail. The promotion's salary eases my budget, but medical bills loom like storm clouds. I shop at discount stores, borrow library books, and enjoy free walks by the river. Every dollar stretched, every page turned, is a claim to my independence. I email Lena, thanking her for her support, and she responds, You're building something real. Keep shining. Her words serve as a mirror, mirroring the woman I'm beginning to recognize. My holy fire turns into therapy with Dr. Sarah Nguyen, an expert in family trauma from Boston. You've chosen estrangement. She says, her voice is soft as a lake. That's not failure, that's courage. How does that feel? I pause my heart a drum and say, I feel like I'm breathing for the first time, but I'm afraid I'm going to fall. She nods. Healing is a spiral, Abigail. You'll circle through fear, but you're building strength. We discuss my early years, the weight of Orion's throne, the hurt of Eleanor's dismissals, James's silence, and Cassandra's spotlight. Every session creates space for me to grieve, be angry, and be hopeful. And Dr. Nguyen's guidance is a roadmap that leads me to a version of myself I've never met, one free from their stares. You're an artist too, she says, and hands me a brush, saying, paint what you feel. My strokes are awkward blue and red bleeding together, but the act releases something, a cry I've held too long. Nora hangs my piece in her studio, saying, your first mark, and I feel seen not as a daughter or sister, but as Abigail, whole and raw. Nora becomes a constant presence in my life. Her daily check-ins create a rhythm like the seasons, and her stories about her murals and laughter fill my bare walls. The specter of loneliness looms as Thanksgiving approaches, but I find an online forum for those who are estranged, a virtual gathering of orphans by choice. From my laptop, I join voices from all over the world. Their stories of toxic relatives are a chorus to mine. We toast with what we have, my apple juice in a paper cup raised with their coffee and wine. To boundaries, one says, to peace, another adds. I write in a journal that Nora gave me. I'm grateful for my freedom to heal, the first entry in a chronicle of my new life. The night feels sacred, a ceremony of belonging, not to blood, but to those who understand the cost of walking away. The words, proud of you, keep swimming, are a wind lifting my sails. But financial strain tightens my savings, dwindling under Boston's cost. I learned to cook simple meals and mend my clothes, skills my parents never taught me. Each stitch, each simmer is a defiance, a declaration that I am enough. Nora introduces me to her friend Eli, a barista who shares free coffee and stories of his escape from a controlling family. We're survivors, he says, his smile a beacon. By December, my body is stronger, and on good days, I replace my walker with a cane. I celebrate with a rare pizza delivery and a small indulgence from my budget. An email from Cassandra using my work address pierces the calm. It reads, Orion's anxious without you. Mom's heartbroken at your absence. Come home. The words twist my heart, but I see them clearly now. Not concern, but guilt centered on their loss, not mine. I respond, I am home, respect my boundaries, and block her. The act is a blade cutting the last thread of their hold. My apartment, which was once a hiding place, starts to feel like a hearth. Its blue walls, a sky I'm painting with my own stars. I am Abigail. And although the past reverberates, I plant new roots. My life is a forest rising from the ashes of their neglect. Abigail Harper stands in a 2-bedroom apartment with a bay window framing a park where joggers weave through dusk. My scars, once angry, are now silver threads weaving a story of survival. My cane rests in a corner used only when winter's chill bites my bones. This space is a sanctuary shared with Nora's friend Tasha, a teacher whose laughter is a warm fire, and its walls are painted with colors we chose together. Ochre and sage like the earth's embrace. The city, once a refuge, is now my homeland, its pulse syncing with mine. I'm no longer running but rooting my life a tree, stretching toward a sky I claim as my own. My days find a rhythm like a river finding its course. Mornings start with coffee with Tasha, and her stories about her students are a tapestry of hope. By noon, I work from our shared living room, and my laptop serves as a portal to Sterling Media, where my campaigns garner praise. Rachel's emails are filled with pride, saying things like, Your team's retention is unmatched, Abigail. You're building more than brands. My leadership is a circle rather than a ladder, and it values every voice, a lesson carved from my family's hierarchy where Orion ruled and I faded. Evenings bring walks with Nora and Eli, exploring cobblestone alleys. Their companionship a constellation, lighting my path, and I am considered a flame, burning bright in my own right. You've built a life of intention, says Dr. Sarah Nguyen, her voice steady like a drum. How does it feel to be the center of your own life? Her sessions continue to be my holy counsel, and her office is a lodge where I unload my heart. I nod, answering clearly. That grief is part of your story, not its end. It's the soil for your growth. We discuss my new boundaries, the strength to say no, and the power to choose who shares my fire. I join a local support group that meets once a week at a community center where Tasha's words reverberate. Family is who shows up. Blood means nothing if it's poison. Other people's stories of overcoming neglect intertwine with mine, their courage inspiring me. My body recovers, the limp goes away. My strength returns like spring to a frozen river. I rejoin a swimming club, the pool a mirror reflecting my old passion. Each stroke a prayer releasing the grief of years, when Orion's fear of water silenced my love for it. One evening, I swim a lap pain-free, the water cradling me, and I celebrate with Nora and Eli at a diner, their cheers a song. You're unstoppable. Eli says, his coffee mug raised, and my professional star rises too. A major client asked me to lead them, and my team of 5 grows under my direction. Rachel observes, your campaigns are industry benchmarks. Abigail. You're rewriting what leadership means. The bonuses reduce my medical debts, my budget breathes easier, and every dollar is a seed planted in my future. A year after the accident, an industry conference in Chicago offers me the opportunity to speak about digital innovation. However, the fact that it is 2 hours away from my parents' house makes me uneasy, so I consult Dr. Nguyen. She says, you can't live avoiding them, so I prepare for any encounter. I board the plane with my heart pounding steadily, ready for anything. The Marriott Convention Center buzzes, and my name badges sparkle like stars as I take the stage, and my presentation is a river of data and vision. Halfway through, I spot Eleanor and James in the 3rd row, their faces older and marked with something I can't identify. Our gazes lock a brief storm, but I hold my ground, my voice unwavering. Colleagues swarm with business cards, but my parents hover at the periphery, uncertain shadows. They are seated at a corner table in the hotel restaurant that evening. James extends a tentative hand, and I approach them, my spine as straight as a pine tree. Hello! I begin, my voice a serene lake, and Eleanor's eyes sparkle. You look radiant, Abigail. Can we buy you dinner? I ask. Using Dr. Nguyen's knowledge as a guide, I sit down and give them 30 minutes. How did you know I was here? Eleanor adds. Your speech was extraordinary. I nod neutrally, waiting, and the server's interruption buys me time, but tension hums like a taut bowstring. We owe you an apology, James says. For what? I ask, and he clears his throat. Lena mentioned the conference, Eleanor adds. Eleanor flinches as I press my eyes, unwavering. We never meant to make you feel less, I say, shaking my head. You missed every grooming milestone for Orion, and you chose his walk over my hospital bed. That wasn't love. The restaurant doors open before they can respond, and Cassandra bursts in with Orion at her side. His fake therapy vest looks ridiculous in the candlelight. You didn't tell me you found her, he says. James flinches as she accuses her voice a whip. Cassandra, please. But she continues. You're ripping us apart, Abigail. Orion's losing fur from worry. You're here after a year talking about your dog's fur while I rebuilt my life from nothing. I nearly died, and you didn't care. I say, my voice a blade. She scoffs. You ran away. You're selfish. I move closer. I chose myself because you never did. Family shows up, Cassandra. You failed me. Eleanor and James sit motionless, their silence a confession. I turn to them, saying, if you want any connection, respect my boundaries, acknowledge the harm, no more dog over daughter, I won't be erased again. I leave money for my untouched meal and then walk away. My footsteps confident as their voices fade behind me. The following day, a message from Eleanor is waiting at the reception saying, We're at the Holiday Inn. No Cassandra, no Orion. Can we talk tomorrow? I phone Nora back in my room, and her voice is soothing. You set your line, she says. That's power. I sigh, my relief outweighing the pain. I weigh it with Dr. Nguyen over the phone. This is for your closure, she says, not their redemption. I meet them in a quiet cafe, my boundaries as clear as crystal. I'm listening, I say, Eleanor's hand shaking. We lost you and it broke us. We're in therapy seeing our mistakes, James adds. Cassandra's moved out. She won't face her part. Our dynamic with her is strained. I say, my voice a river. I needed parents who saw me, not my sister's shadow. I've built a life where I'm enough. If you want a place in it, it's on my terms, calls, limited visits, no old patterns. They nod, tears in their eyes, and Eleanor hands me pictures of my childhood triumphs, swimming and graduation captured, but never celebrated. We saw you, she whispered. We just didn't show it. The past is a shadow, but I am the sun. My sky is endless. My heart is a drum, beating a song of belonging. I am Abigail, and this is my home. A forest of my own, making a life where I soar. I fly back to Boston, my apartment alive with Tasha, Nora, and Eli celebrating my conference triumph. Tasha toasts to Abigail, who blooms where she's planted. And I raise my glass, the photos, hidden away, not a tether, but a marker of my journey. I'd truly love to hear your stories and experiences in the comments below. If this story resonated with you or offered something meaningful, don't forget to hit subscribe and give it a like. It helps others discover this message about redefining success on our own terms, not by someone else's standards. Feel free to share this video with anyone you know who might be struggling under the weight of family expectations or societal pressure. Sometimes the most valuable thing we can offer each other is the simple reminder that we're not alone in these complicated, messy journeys. Thank you for being here with me, for joining in this space where we dare to be honest about our struggles and vulnerabilities. And always remember, real success isn't about applause or recognition from others. It's about waking up each day and choosing to live in alignment with your deepest values, your truest dreams, and the quiet beliefs that make you who you are.